Let me now introduce you to a young boy, raised in a city of no love, born with a broken heart. His name is Tristan. Dreamed of being the next Damson, where dreamers in the city shoot for the stars. The gun jams, all their dreams don't fall apart. Or the gun's aim gets misdirected to another dreamer's heart. That's a hood cycle of dreams falling apart. His people have always been drowning in pain, praying for Noah's Ark. But let me backtrack, take a step back. Let me tell you a story, take on a journey, also afar, to a city full of potholes and mud. That's a metaphor for the pits and drugs in his life. That's a dark mystery to people like us, I mean to people like you. Or maybe you understand it too. Maybe you also understand the struggle that Tristan went through. I'm taking you far away from where most of you grew up in. Or maybe you grew up in a society rather close. His dad left him, his mom and sister all alone, but you see that, you already know. And you know a boy without a father figure has to grow old in a home. Whilst he's trying to find a figure, and he's getting even bigger, he's looking round trying to figure out how he can be a figure to his sister. She was older. But the male mentality to look after women was embedded in his mind. As all he saw growing up was women suffering alone. His mom was always high, Glocks and baby nines. Sister drifting in and out of his life. Age 5 is his last good memory of them all together. Tried so hard to keep it alive. Christmas Day he holds onto that forever. Boxing Day he woke up to screaming and shouting. It was his mum and some man arguing, then down the stairs flew a heavy box of leather. Then followed his mum, she fell down the stairs, well he knew better. He was young but also clever. So he rushed outside, grabbed onto a stick of metal, then wrapped around the guy's legs. Then he looked him dead in the eye. Since that day not a single tear did he ever shed. He hadn't killed yet, but he really wanted to. Wrapped the metal around the guy's head, hit him with a 1-2. From his heart all of his innocence oozed. Out of his body, no longer a baby like I said. By age 9 he had a baby 9 laying under his bed. Cause Tristan grew up in a city where everybody's broken and they have no drive to fix it. Products of loss, not love, so many tears have been shed. So many lives have been put to a stop by dots, sentences cut short. All he sees around him is a city where the floor to the walls have been painted red. On a daily, children getting filled with lead. Tristan should have been at school at age 10, but he was going country for the orders instead. He lost his mum and sister to the devil. So him too tried to follow them in this deep dark pit where they had fell. This is what he said when he prayed to God each night. He prayed his mum finds a way to sanity and his sister back in his life, and if not, help him find them with these drugs and knives, this criminal life. As they all indulged in it too. But he got so entrapped by that feeling of belonging he was losing sight of people he was hurting. By 12 he stopped praying for better days. He stopped praying for his mum and sister. He was no longer at a tender age and believing things would change. He knew this life was his destiny. Blanketed by darkness, his eyes were a pathway to his dark and twisted heart, forever covered by shades. So Lil Man said, let me charge it to the game. By 15 he was the top boy in ends like a little light-skinned Shane. Tristan was known as a top killer, top driller, well-known shooter. Became a top recruiter, grave digger, scouting kids the ends Freddy Krueger. And the feds caught him with a hot Luger. He pleaded insanity, out on bail, praying the devil possessed the jurors. Why? Cause he wasn't scared of jail. He looked the devil in the eye plenty times, came face to face with hell. But now he's hearing his sisters playing around with an op, hearing man say that she's sniffing his cells, hearing that she's off her head, hearing she's in love with backbending for different males. He thought she was better than that. Looked up to her in the small youth that he had. Damn, he thought she was better than that. Looked up to her in the small youth that he had. Didn't think she would slip through the cracks, but she did. So he grabbed onto his 9. He wasn't going on a glide, just going to find his sister, but he couldn't lack passing through the other side. So he took that to his right. He had a long pole on the other side. Can't be too careful, cause if the 9 jams, you gotta be ready to swing that right. Black bladed phantom, hidden in the night. Got there. First time in a long time he was scared. The door was unlocked. Tiptoeing in to see on the desk a man's watch laying there. What was she doing at a man's yard? By the size of the watch he knew that guy was hitting hella shots, so he took out the dots. He heard his sister's voice, brought a tear to his eye. Wiped that away real quick as he heard another voice, then something dropped. Loud thud upstairs. He came to a stop, then he ran up the stairs. His chest felt tight. Felt like he was running but couldn't reach the destination, he was too out of sight. Felt like at that moment all of his demons were chasing him and he was not gonna reach the light. Finally, he got up the stairs and opened every door, just empty rooms. One door left. He stood praying to God outside it, praying this wasn't the end. See Tristan, he'd seen so many bodies drop in his lifetime and never thought twice. But something about the noises coming from the room gave him hope that there was still time. Swung open the door, saw 2 figures, but didn't have enough time to configure what was going on. Just had time long enough to see who was who and deep something was going wrong. He looked Tracy in the eyes, then looked to the dots in a trembling hand. He looked Joe in the eyes as he was on his knees, shaking and damn, they all locked eyes with paradise deep inside the barrel of paradise, different to a seaside of sand. Judgment was calling and the ringtone had a sinister sound.